Hello, beautiful friends. What a treat it is to be with you. How are you all doing? How is the equinox, new moon, spring, just Aries, all this burst of light seems to be coming in. I feel just really connected to the environment. I feel really connected to like my own happiness and joy. I feel connected to the parts of me that are healing and evolving. It's very exciting times. So I'd be curious to see what's going on for all of you who tune in here. All right, so I'm going to do a quick general reading. Seven cards. Seven seems to be like this magical number. I did a lot of release work last night. I had a little fire and I just did a lot of transmutation, a lot of burning of things. I'm really embracing this airy fire. It feels like a blessing. I know that maybe collectively you're looking out into the world and being like, what in the H is going on? But I would say it's like a movie. I feel like I'm in a separate reality than that movie that's going on. And I can acknowledge that that's a part of the human experience. For many people are really tapped in and connected to that vibration. But I also think that those of us who are picking up higher, it's actually because we're gritting in a new template, and we're embodying the life that is to come. And I've been saying this for a long time. It really feels like there's like a big split in consciousness happening, almost as if like we're going to different realms. I also think that we might, those of us who are enlightening, um, might be encountering lighter realms. So you might be having instances of connecting either in your dreams or maybe in passing of seeing other creatures from other times. Maybe from the Fae realm, our Fae friends. Anyway, so we're going to jump into the collective energies of the masculine and feminine, the yin, the yang, just the above, the below, the in without, just however you want to say it. All right, so what are we getting started here with? Usually I use these cards as the external, but today I felt guided to show them as the internal. And this is for the more feminine or the yin component, or maybe the person we usually start with is who's watching this video. This is like the inner world for sure. This is the moon. This shows to me that there's been a lot of energies right now around rest, renewal, recharge, really being present with your spirit. It also feels like the ancestral blessings of the nighttime and being present with those who appear in your dreams as a way of enlivening your consciousness even more for your earth walk. Now, this also has to do with the cycles of the moon. And, we are in our first quarter moon. Next week, we will have our full moon. And I'm really feeling like in this cycle between now and then, it's really about just finding peace within oneself. And the external bridge that comes out with this card is the Queen of Cups. And I really feel like this is her sleeping, receiving, and this is her embodying in her waking life. This card also is a callback to the moon card in the Light Seers deck where the woman is submerged in water. But she's in and out, and the reflection is clear and true either way. And I love that, she's being crowned in the earthly realm, not in the watery realm, whereas here it's in sleep that she's being crowned. So this really shows me that there's a deep sense of embodiment going on for the feminine component. It's really finding peace within our emotions. I know for myself in my own journey, I've had lots of surges of big healing going on and nervous system regulation, and to the point where like there were wounds coming up that I couldn't even quite identify what they were or why they were happening. Now, the beauty of this is when we can't get to the core of the wound, we're in the process of healing something, and a lot of times that stuff is nonverbal. It comes from a time that is far beyond when we can put tones to it. It could also be from past lives. So I just really like want to implement this, and this card is called the Grandmother. So I really feel this is so strong for the feminine lineage as well. So anything that you can apply, if you can spend time if in conversation with your mother, your grandmothers, your aunts, your sisters, your daughters, really being present with this passage of the feminine, and even with the feminine, your friends. I just really feel like there's a strong embodiment of the goddess right now that is meant for placing your feet firmly on the ground and like letting it rain, so like washing the intensity of heavier emotions away so that you can embody your soul's truth as it dances with the emotions, if that resonates. So even the moon in this card is kind of like our first quarter. So really, really beautiful what's coming through here. All right. So next we move over to the more masculine component, which are very masculine cards, oddly enough. So first here we have the Eight of Stones, which would be the Eight of Pentacles. And this card is really, to me, an act of honing one's craft, of really like it's a really grounded way of navigating ritual. So I will say that these cards do feel complementary in the sense of it's the embodiment of okay, this is what it is. So it's the embodiment of the masculine gifts. I've been thinking a lot and was just sharing a story earlier today about this navigation that the masculine and the feminine have together. And what that looks like is if we were both in a boat, that we would be able to work together within the boat, but trusting the individual skills that each one's brings, or like it's really honoring the gifts that each one brings to a process. So I know for me, and what's coming up for me in my own dance is understanding that pacing is important, whereas I just want to go, go, go. And it's also like it's trusting that the dance with the masculine and the timing of how things unfold in the external world is exactly as it needs to be. And so as a feminine component, you might be receiving all of this insight and these downloads and knowing where we're going and embodying that of which is coming forward. But it's actually the slower pacing or the masculine slower pacing. It's the more deliberate pacing of the masculine force that guides the process more directly to where it needs to go. So it goes from being like, whatever. I just journaled the line right before this call. True alchemy happens when you have a container, not just ingredients. Okay, so this is if the masculine is the tea, the feminine is the water, but what they need in order for both to dance is a cup so that they can actually make the tea. So it's not just the ingredients. Okay, so what comes forward with this masculine in his process of constructing, of building, of really kind of honing in on the gifts, on the specificity of the vision that maybe the feminine is bringing through. There is this embodiment. Okay, I think the emperor coming forward with this queen, to me, really shows it's like an acceptance, a seeing the feminine in her process and an accepting that he has a piece in that process, and how he plays this game or discerns within this dance, is not only a testament of her power and his strength, it's also what embodies the relationship to coming into whole being. So the purity and the truth of that is as we move in dance, like this is the creation of the container, and the masculine understanding his piece in this creative component of manifesting this greater reality going on. So this is all very curious, and it's very strong. I do really feel for the masculine that they are opening up, and while their practice seems like very honed in and specific, and sometimes almost a little like I don't know, pigeonholed is the word, but just like a tunnel vision, I guess is the word. But it's actually like the tunnel and then the expansive process. So this being the internal tunnel, it's like, oh, I know what I need to do. And this is actually a very open card. This masculine is very like ready, open, and receptive to the world that he is looking to be a part of embodying. And there is a little bit more of a passive role here. There's like she's calling it in and he's kind of taking it in. He's also got this stream of light moving through that's like calling him forward to play the game. So that's part of this dance. Now, the dynamic between them, we get as the internal lesson, we get the Apprentice of Arrows, which would be the Knight of Swords. And there's a lot of teaching going on in this card. Now, I've even had conversations today. I'm like, well, where we are now is feminine led. It's not always that way because obviously in a process you've got two parties always participating that are influencing the speed and the pacing of the project. But the thing is that they both want to learn and they both want to grow, and there might be a little bit of a growth edge where the feminine is a little bit ahead right now. So I feel that's what she is being older than this one who's learning to shoot the arrow. But they're both working to get to the bullseye. They're both working on precision, and you know her embodiment is leading it forward to kind of teach the way of like, here's how we can get to the core of what it is that we need to do, and then he's taking the action to get there. So that's kind of the internal dynamic. Now, external, we get the Seven of Cups. Okay, so this is still a card of a lot of indecision, of deciding of what should we turn over, what should we look at. And I'm going to get a little more information on this card because the Seven of Cups, it feels a little indecisive compared to the clarity of the two kind of coming before. I feel like there's just like an air of kind of like seeming delays or like things not happening or learning as fast as they could or should. Okay, I need a little more information. Let's see how these all come together. Mm, yeah, I'm just not quite sure. Um, Let me draw one more card. Okay, where are all these cards taking us? What is the major message here? Okay. So we're in a bit of a process here, all right? So I'm going to lift these up and see what's going on. So we're starting with the Seven of Cups. Like we're in this place of like exploring possibilities, looking at indecision, looking to make a choice and kind of assessing what makes the most sense for us. This is Seven of Cups, though. So this is an emotional based process. What I also feel is just like it's this accumulation of knowledge, specifically more maybe from the masculine perspective of the things that he's known a lot time, but he hasn't ever actually had the chance to explore or to hold. So I've been using this, you know, metaphor of the alchemy of creating tea. It's like it's choosing which cup and how to hold the container for which the tea gets created. All right. So here we have, and it's always interesting holding these cards up because they tell a slightly different story than when I'm looking at them. But we have this, the feminine is like observing this process for the masculine, but she's packed up her bags. And, you know, when I look at the card, it's heading away. And it's just like, if you can't make a decision, I gotta go. I gotta move forward. I've taken what I've needed from this old world. I've got the appropriate amount of supplies and tools and things with me, and I'm ready to move. So this 10 of wands to me says, ready or not, here I come. Or ready or not, like you can stay or you can go, but I'm going. It's time to move. There's no more waiting in this process. There's no more placating, procrastination is what I want. Ooh, that's good. Pro Placating procrastination. Say that 10 times fast. All right. So, what do we get out of this process and where is it going? Well, it's more intentionality. So, we come back to this Seven of Wands, which we've got this female in the card. And so, again, it's like as she moves forward and she embodies, it's still holding space for the fact that he could potentially make a choice and merge. She's also in a sacred container. She's doing the work. Living with precision. She's really harnessing the vision of the dream. I want to ask for another card. Well, what's the masculine process in this? Or is that the masculine process? Because I'm not sure who that's for exactly. Okay. So Okay, this feels to be actually more like the masculine process as I'm connecting with it. It could also be the feminine. You apply this to however it relates to you. But the card in my question came out was the sun. Okay, the sun has been coming out left and right in many of the readings that I'm doing. Now, of course, the sun is often attributed to be the most positive card in the tarot deck. Now, what I see from it is like this little beam of this little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Okay, sorry, Sunday school flashback. But this beam that like illuminates her entire being, and as she embodies it, is actually what's activating in the solar plexus for the masculine his higher journey. And this is a dance that they're doing together. This is extreme visioning because it's almost like her insight that's coming through her third eye is being held and cultivated by this, which honestly has tossed back to these cards, right? If this is the masculine who's like in this little bull process and really thinking, it's like this is a sacred process. This is a sacred dance. And to me, the sun card is just like her dancing like after she gets done with her water rituals. So there's a lot of intentionality going on. Now, where is this all going for them? Well, we get the Two of Cups, okay? Now, I know we talk a lot about on these channels, and you might listen to other energy updates from people, but there's always like, oh, union is coming, it's being by, blah, blah, blah. All right. Like I've been on the sacred union path consciously since 2011, and I've just longed for union the whole time. But yesterday I went down this wormhole of listening to all these poems that I wrote several years ago or through the years. And I realized that I'm writing them for the time now. I'm starting to embody the frequencies and the intention of the poems that I have been invoking for a long time. All right. And it's sacred word poetry. It's sacred alchemy. So in this, this is the embodiment now. This is the making of the tea. Here's my ingredients. Here's your ingredients. And we're putting them together. Both of our cups are getting filled up individually. And through that union, we see a mass amount of collective service being enacted. I know a lot of people who are in unions, in divine unions, and are starting to implement more behaviors together, more acts of service. They're implementing businesses, they're stepping forward. And we might still be in the seed times of it, or we might just be sitting and filling each other's cups. And brainstorming. But the ultimate thing of what we are actually moving towards is this last card, Ginkgo, breakthrough. Okay, so this isn't usually a breakthrough of the mind. It's clarity of mind, body, spirit is what I'm feeling it as. And this feels like, you know, it feels like almost like the hand of the masculine, because we'll, pick up even just on the people in these cards, but like, we have this the skin tone is matching across here, and this really feels like the masculine is about to have a massive breakthrough in his own clarity and this own consciousness. I did a reading for a friend earlier today, and the same thing came up. It's like the masculine is about to have a massive breakthrough, and it's because of the clarity and the alignment that the feminine component has been doing with her own emotions. I have never really felt that cluttered within my brain, but my the surge of emotions can sometimes feel too much, and I'm starting to find a way that I can use the emotional flow to keep the mind clear, or to keep the to help the brain process, or to help let the brain help the body and the heart process emotions, something along that. This does feel like an outcome from the masculine, or through the masculine's process. I'm curious as to either what the union process is, and the feminine process is in this. Remember when I said this is a 7 card reading? Okay. Lovely. Okay, so this is spot on. This is exactly what we were getting. Okay. Masculine breakthrough, ginkgo, coming at you fast and furious. The feminine, it's her embodiment of the joy. It's just to keep being this. I honestly, I don't post that much on social media, but this week I've just been so delighted by seeing quails run across my property and around my home that I film them every time I see them. And I'm like, this is just a bunch of quail content. I hope you enjoy it. But I'm so delighted by the quails. I'm so delighted by the trees. I'm so delighted by the cotton candy sunset that is happening right now, that I might need to sign off so I can go see. But in this last, it's 7-Eleven too, make a wish. The last card in regards to union is Bhavanasana, which is trust, all right, which is eight. And this sacred eight we're feeling um, is is representative union, but trust is a major part of what's going on: the security, the safety, the trust. Now what I see in this card is a lot of tossbacks to the other pieces in these cards. There's the element of timing that we've been talking about, really trusting that the masculine is a part of cultivating the timing. And again, we have to think of this as like, the masculine cycle, it's day and night, right? The feminine cycle is with the moon, and which is a much longer thing. So we're always going to be holding this longer term vision, which means we have more insight as to the larger cycle at scale. But we have to trust that the masculine knows how to get there from the day to day. All right. So we also have the grandmother, which we saw in our first card coming through. So there's a lot of ancestral love and wisdom moving through at this time. We have the hummingbird at the forefront of this card, and then the hummingbird is back right here. Okay. So we see these. The cards are getting more glary. How can I let you see this more? Anyway, so we just embrace all of that. There's a whale coming forward. I feel like that's significant in timing anyway. It's just and the sun/moon setting. Lots of DNA strands being activated. I feel like there's a lot of ancestral knowledge that is coming afoot right now. There's a lot of light. There's a lot of love. Just stay tuned and connected with your own process. I really do believe that we are moving to some really big connective times, and the readings that I've been doing, really seem to line up with this. And my friend the other day, she's like, yeah, the world might be crazy, but this is like, we're not jumping timelines anymore. This is the timeline we're on, and everything is happening for the greatest good of all. And, I'm seeing all the insights and the downloads we're having and that we're implementing in our bodies. And I know for me, a big phrase is just like, I will not participate in a timeline that contains that. If it's not aligned with my values, I'm fine to walk away. And, I will stand forward and speak to that over and over again. Just until I feel that I have spoken what is clear. But after that, I'm cool to walk away. It's all good. So take that with you, and many blessings to you on your journey. Feel free to reach out. My email is prismhealers@gmail.com if you'd like to schedule a one-on-one session. I'd love to take a look into what your experience, what your story is, and what the cards have to say to bring you into this metaphor phasis. Anyway, many blessings. Aho.